to Wylock Homework Lesson 2. Now the first question is asking, evaluate the expression 8 times 8 times 8. Evaluate means to solve or to understand. The word expression is just to express something. We know it's not an equation because there is no equal sign. The difference between expression and equation is that an expression is just to express something, no equal sign, while an equation does have an equal sign. Now technically, you can see here, just to solve for 8 times 8 times 8. Now to solve this, we know that 8 times 8 times 8, 8 times 8 is 64. When there's 64 times 8, 8 times 4 is 32, 6 times 8 is 48, 49, 50, 51. So that means number 1 will be D. Moving on to the next question. Number 2. Evaluate the expression 1 plus 7 times 4. Now here we have classic use of PEMDAS. PEMDAS stands for parenthesis. PEMDAS is technically PEMDAS is parentheses. One second. PEMDAS is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. That's the order of how you're supposed to do things first. So here we can see that here we have parentheses here first. This is first, technically. Parentheses first. Next we have multiplication. Is next. Now you might be confused. What exactly is parentheses? Parentheses is basically like brackets. They act as like, hey, this part is supposed to go first. In this case, it basically singles this part out, saying, okay, we should start this first rather than next. So in this case, it's technically 1 plus 7, which will be 8. Here we have 8 times 4. 8 times 4, which will be 32. And how did I get that? We know that 7 plus 1 is 8. And then 8 times 4, which is 32. Now, PEMDAS is like a must know. You need to know PEMDAS in order to get into like algebra 1 and 2. PEMDAS is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. That's how the order pair should go. Now let's say you forget it. Well, here's like an easy term to memorize it. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's how I've been taught about it. Just remember those words, PEMDAS, and then you should be able to solve equations like this future on. Then moving on to the next question. By the way, the answer for this one will be D. 2 will be D. Now moving on to the next question. Evaluate the expression 18 divided by 9 plus 63 divided by 7. Now, this may look confusing once again, but remember PEMDAS once again. PEMDAS is such an important rule. You cannot forget this at all. You have to like ingrain this in your head. So here, remember order pair first. We start off with P. P stands for parentheses. So in this case, we start off with the 18 divided by 9 and 63 divided by 7. We know that 18 divided by 9 is already 2. And then ask for plus 63 divided by 7. 63 divided by 7 is 9. Now you need to know your multiplication tables in order to do these really quickly. Now because we found these two sums, We know that 9 plus 2 will become 11. In this case, the answer to this expression will be B, 11. Okay, we'll erase this now. Moving on to the next question. Alright. Logan and Emma are candidates at the school election. For every 6 student voters, 2 of them voted for Logan. What is the possible number of students who voted for Logan and Emma? So we have to learn this very carefully. The wording here is pretty difficult. Here we have Logan and Emma are candidates at the school for election. For every 6 students, 2 of them voted for Logan. So we know the ratio here is for every 6 student voters, 2 of them voted for Logan. So 6 students, 2 for Logan. Now they're asking for what is the possible number of students who voted for Logan and Emma. Now here, because they're asking for every 6 student voters, 2 of them voted for Logan, now we're asking for how many for Emma. We know that there's a total for 2 for Logan. So how much should be for Emma? Well, we can do this easily by 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. That means there should be 4 people who voted for Emma. That means for every 6 students, there will be 2 Logans. And for every 6 students, there will be 4 Emmas. Now they're asking for what is the possible number of students who voted for Logan and Emma. So basically, what we're asked here is to find the ratio. We know that there's a total of 2 for Logan. So 2L. Remember, they're asking for Logan first. So Logan should be starting off first. So 2 Logan and then 2 Emma. Emma is the next one. And we know there's a total of 4 Emmas. So 4E. Now what this ratio looks familiar, right? Almost looks like I have a half. For every 1, there's 2. For every 2, there's 4. So we know that this is almost like for every 1 person, there should be 2. So in this case, A, 120 for Logan. Logan is first. 240 for Emma. 120 times 2 is 240. So A seems reasonable. 120 for Logan, 360 for Emma. This does not sound reasonable. This is multiplication of 3. 120 for Logan, 240 for Emma. This is also reasonable. I wonder why there's a duplicate. 1 second. Okay, anyways. So technically the answer should be 120. Answer should be 120 for Logan, 240 for Emma. I don't know why there's a duplicate. That's strange. There's a duplicate for each one. Anyways, the answer is technically A and C. On the answer key it says A. So either or is fine if you put A or C. So remember, 120 for Logan, 240 for Emma. It is being doubled. So the answer can either be A or C. The ratio is 2 to 4, but they're not simplifying all the way. They're just asking for the possible number of students who voted for Logan and Emma. This case will be A and C. Now for number 5. Maya has 36 forks and 24 knives in her silverware drawer. What is the ratio of knives to forks in the drawer? And what are they asking for here? They're asking for a ratio of knives to forks. How many knives are there first? There are 24 knives and 2 forks. How many forks are there? There are a total of 36 forks. They're asking for the ratio. Now, what is ratio? Like in actual definition, you might ask. Well, remember, it's like almost like division, but they're asking for the quantity relationship between two amounts. Here's one amount, and here's another amount. Alright? So here, they're asking for 24 knives. We know that 24, we know that this one's knives. And we know that 36 is forks. In this case, they're asking for what is the ratio of knives to forks in the drawer. So we already have it set it up to knives to forks. And they're asking for a ratio. Now you might be thinking, how will I get such a large number to such a small number? Well, what can we divide this by? 24 to 36. We can divide this by 2 for now. We know that 24 divided by 2 is 12. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Now we need to make these numbers even smaller. Divide this by 2. If we divide this by 2, it will be 6. Divided by this by 2, it will be 9. We need to make it even smaller. This time we cannot divide it by 2. You have to do it by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Here, we have the smallest possible ratio we can ever find. Here, we have 2 to 3. In this case, we know it's not 3 to 2 because they're asking for knives to forks. We start off with knives and work our way down. Same with forks. So in this case, it's not 3 to 2. It's not 3 to 5 or 2 to 5. In this case, 5 is B. Alright, last question. There are 50 empty seats on the bus, 20 passengers. There are 50 empty seats on the bus and 20 passengers. What is the ratio of passengers to empty seats? Now this one may seem a bit tricky, but you have to read this very carefully. We know, so on a bus, there are 50 empty seats on the bus and 20 passengers. So let's write the ratio to this. There are 50 empty seats on the bus and 20 passengers. What is the ratio to passengers to empty seats? So here, 20 passengers to empty seat. So in this case, they're asking for passengers first. So passengers should be over here. And what can we divide this by the way? We can divide this by 10. If we divide this by 10, it will have 2 to 5. Now remember, they're asking for passengers first. Because they're asking for passengers first, we need to flip this around. In this case, it will be 2 to 5. For every 2 passengers, there will be 1. For every 2 passengers, there will be 5 empty seats. In this case, we know it's not B. We know it's not C. We know it's not D. In this case, the only reasonable answer that would make sense here is A. 2 to 5. And that's it. Thank you for listening.